Good news portion of the show, my favorite time, absolutely. Lots of love in the air, lots of love going on in the world right now. And would it be funny to say how much I love it? Maybe, maybe not. So this is really cool. There's a couple, James Sisson and Ashley Schmieder. They've become the first couple to ever get married at the base camp of Mount Everest in a tuxedo and wedding dress. And though they say it was a long and arduous journey, the photos are proof that the event was worth it. The couple had planned on doing something dangerous and daring for their wedding, but they had not thought about the world's highest mountain until it was suggested by Charlton Churchill, a self-proclaimed adventure wedding photographer. Woo! Schmieder contacted the photographer 1 year in advance and started hashing out plans for the trip. The duo hired a crew that would escort them up the mountain, and to prepare, they went to the gym obsessively to get in shape for the hike. Then, in March, the troupe flew from Seattle to Dubai, then to Kathmandu in Nepal. With their lightweight wedding outfits and gear strapped to their backs, they began the week-long hike up the mountain. Wow! We were like family. Ashley is a tough girl who crushed it on the mountain trail and maintained a great pace. James is a great man who took care of Ashley, always looking after her needs, says Churchill. Plus, he's a comedian who made us laugh often. It can be difficult after a few days on a long mountain trek with all the pressure and lack of resources to maintain a smile, but we did well. It was not all fun and games, however. There were some serious challenges along the way. Churchill came down with food poisoning, which prevented him from sleeping well. Sisson had come down with the Kumba cough halfway through the journey. Saying this was an epic and amazing trip is true, but I would be remiss if I didn't share that it came with some suffering, doubt, fear, anxiety, and physical pain, wrote Churchill. Oftentimes, when striving for something great, there's usually a cost. There's no glory without suffering. But after 8 days of difficult hiking, they finally donned their wedding outfits and said, "I do." Though they were both wearing wool long johns under their fancy get-ups, they still had to endure -5 to 5 degree Fahrenheit weather at 17,600 feet. Wow. According to their Sherpa guides, the mountain had dumped more snow on them during their journey alone than the rest of the winter combined. It was still all worth it. It was beautiful, short, but we captured a few photos before packing and getting ready to leave, says Churchill. I had many image ideas to massage with them, but because of the circumstances, we only had so much time to capture them in the freezing cold. However, even with the small amount of time we had to capture James and Ashley and their wedding, I think we nailed it. Since they were eloping far away from home, we had no minister, but they exchanged vows, exchanged rings, and shared from the heart how much they're going to pursue and love each other. It was truly a moment of awesomeness, knowing where we were at that time and how hard we worked to get there. This moment was finally happening. They were getting married, surrounded by an orchestra of mountains. Truly unreal. Isn't that awesome? And it's so representative of being married, right? You're always working at it. So you work and then reward, work and reward, work and reward. It is just absolutely awesome. Very cool. And wow, talk about making memories. I have a sister-in-law that lives in Chilliwack, BC, and I don't know the name of it, but she works for a high-end resort, and many people go there and get married, and they actually hire a photographer, obviously, but they also get hire a helicopter to take them. I'll have to message her and find out the name of the mountain, but they get the helicopter to come and pick up the bride and the groom and the photographer, and they take them up to the highest mountain, and they take their pictures there. Can you imagine? Oh man, I would love to meditate on a mountain. So very cool. It's on my list. It's on my list. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be great. But what a wonderful thing that is. And to anybody who has an opportunity and the finances, obviously, to do something like that. That is, wow, amazing. Next story, another love story. Blake Walsh isn't just Kevin's wife. She's also the woman who saved his life. Kevin and Blake first met at summer camp when they were 13 years old. Even when they were younger, Kevin says that he thought she was the prettiest girl he'd ever seen. Though they have stayed in contact over instant messaging and phone calls in the following years, they eventually lost touch. After all, Kevin lived in Indianapolis and Blake lived in Michigan. But then, 1 year after they stopped talking, divine intervention led Blake to call Kevin out of the blue when they were 17 years old. Due to a string of events, Kevin says he was seconds away from taking his own life. He had already written out his suicide note and was about to do the deed when his phone vibrated in his pocket. It was Blake. As they spoke, Kevin told her that he had been planning on committing suicide. Shocked and mortified, Blake talked him down and made him promise that he would call her the next day. The two became even closer friends until they fell in love and started dating. Then, 10 years after that fateful phone call, Kevin proposed to her in 2015. During his proposal, Kevin reportedly told Blake, "I love you. Also, thanks for saving my life." Is that a Hallmark card or what? That is so very cool. Absolutely love it. And then my last story today. You know, a lot of focus going on about what's going on in Houston and those people. I can't even imagine, wow, what they're going through. So many things, so many severe things going on in the world. We've got Houston and that whole area with floods. Even in Windsor, Ontario, we had some floods this week. Out west, in BC, I have family out there. They're still dealing with wildfires. And so when you get up in the morning and you're like, oh, I can't believe I got 3 red lights. Let's stop and reflect for a minute. What's going on in other places of the world and how we should be grateful. So very grateful. And if you can step up and help somebody, you do that. Do that today. Do it for them and do it for yourself. It's win-win for everybody involved. And tell me about it, because then I get to enjoy it as well. And my people, right, that I share it with. So, very cool. He has been a Houston fixture, advertising his 2 furniture stores in Houston for over a third of a century. This week, he advertised his own cell phone number and opened both locations to 400 victims of the Texas floods from Tropical Storm Harvey. We're opening up both buildings as shelters during this horrible time, Jim Mickingvale told in a video on the company Facebook page. We've got lots of beds, we've got lots of food, we've got water, and you can even bring your animals. Wow, that's awesome. Then he proceeded to give out his personal cell phone number on the live video broadcast. Is that bold or what? If you need something, call, and we'll try to get you whatever help we can. We're all in this together. We'll come out of this stronger and better than ever before. I so love that attitude. Mickingvale also sent out his fleet of large delivery trucks with drivers to pick up people who are in need of a safe place to shelter. Yes, it's very trying right now, but we are Texans, and we will help each other as we have done for 200 years. Mickingvale himself has done this before, during floods last year and during Hurricane Katrina 12 years before. He built his stores on elevated concrete to make them flood-proof, reports NPR News. Now, Gallery Furniture is collecting donations of hundreds of cleaning supplies, such as Clorox, shovels, Pine Sol, shop vacs, and sponges at their Freeway Street and Grand Parkway South locations so that affected Texans can clean up the mess left by one of the worst storms in recent American memory. Known affectionately in the city as Mattress Mac, he opened and closed the inspiring video announcement with his daughter's favorite quote, "If not for our struggles, we would not have known our strengths." Wow, what a smart kid. That is so awesome. So, just a reminder, all these articles are posted on the Facebook Positive Power page. If you haven't already checked out that page, make sure you do. Please make sure you like it. You need to surround yourself with an atmosphere of success. And by liking pages like that, it puts positive stories in your newsfeed. Therefore, you're going to feel good when you look at Facebook and not feel like you've been either punched in the face or like somebody sucked the life right out of you. Because that is what happens sometimes if you don't have your social media set up in a positive fashion. So try that. Like it. And watch the videos and check out the pictures. There's a lot of pictures from the wedding on the mountain. And that is very cool. So, before we go here quickly, 10 low glycemic fruits for diabetes. So many people have diabetes. It's an absolute epidemic, and it's all tied to the food. So, here are quickly 10 foods that are good for you. So, cherries, grapefruit, dried apricots, pears, apples, oranges, plums, strawberries, peaches, and grapes. All good things that will help you. They're low glycemic for diabetes. So there you go. And before I go quickly, a little shout out to Taylor Swift. You might notice, well, first of all, going back over the last 2 years that I've been doing this radio show and doing these good news reports, Taylor Swift has come up quite a bit because she is well known for doing positive things, for giving back to her fans, positive messages, all sorts of stuff. So, just this week, I believe, she put out a new video. Haven't seen it yet, but I will. I've listened to the song, though. I've heard it on the radio. And it was a big quiet thing that she didn't want anybody to know. So, it was a big hush-hush thing. Well, apparently, in her video, there's a bunch of dancers and choreography and, you know, all the normal trendy Taylor Swift sort of stuff. And so, she had them all sworn to secrecy. And every one of them kept their mouths shut, which I can't even imagine. Can you imagine? You get your big break and you're going on a Taylor Swift dance video and you can't tell anybody until it comes out. And after the whole Michael Jackson thing, you know, all those people worked so hard on the This Is It tour, and then he died. So, you know, oh man, just whatever. Anyway, so going back to Taylor Swift. So apparently they all kept their mouths shut. She did the big reveal. Everything she wanted went perfectly. And to thank them all for keeping their word, keeping her secret, the whole 9 yards, she sent them all flowers and a thank you note personally to their homes. How cool is that? So you got your big break. You got to meet Taylor Swift. You got to be in her video. And now you have a handwritten card by her. The memory of the flowers. Like, wow. So high five to you, Taylor. That is absolutely awesome. So there you go. It is the last day of August. Oh my gosh. So happy September tomorrow. And there you go. That's your good news for today. And all those articles are also going to be posted on the Positive Power Facebook page for you to check out at your convenience because we're busy people. So we need to check things out when time permits.